Welcome to the FCMG Podcast. The date today is November the 12th. It's about 10:46 in the morning. Maybe I shouldn't say that when we have beers on the table.
Probably not.
It's 10:46 at night.
Yes.
Because we only drink at times that are appropriate.
Yes.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
We are here with Nate Williams. Nate Williams is a rapper, producer from northeastern PA.
Yes, sir.
That is what you would like call the scene up there
Yeah,
too.
NEPA. That's what. Yeah. That's,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, Nate, we wanna get to know you a little bit here. That's the whole point of these podcasts.
Are
Get
you
to know
sure?
our local producer. You're like, you're gonna regret that.
But
We are being productive. This is coffee.
that's coffee.
Yes, we're
Black coffee.
such good people.
Yep.
Yep.
Super good.
Professionals.
Consummate.
The consummate professionals, yes.
Yes.
Alrighty. So, Nate, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started? Like when did kind of rap begin in your life?
Rap began when I started attending Northwestern Lehigh. That's before that I was doing a lot of open mics.
Gotcha.
And poetry. But someone challenged me to do it over a beat, and that's where I got my start in rapping consistently.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did my first song a couple years later. Like, I was just messing with it until I got my first song down, which was a crazy experience because the person who recorded it was like, "Are you sure you can do this?" I'm like, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
just put it on. And it became one of my more memorable tracks in the scene.
Is that track available online?
Yes, it's on. I actually just dropped my mixtape, Soulful Psycho.
Soulful Psycho.
Soulful Psycho is on SoundCloud, and it's the first song called "In the Building." And the backstory behind that song: a local guy from my hometown, took shots at my friend who didn't really rap. He rapped here and there. So I said, "Let me direct a track to him. Let me just diss him and see what I can do," and that became the first song.
Yeah, gotcha. So that's kind of like where that inspiration came from. You drew it from, animosity towards another person.
I knew I could write better than him, so I just had to see if I could rap better than him at that point.
Gotcha. I'm gonna try and find that link for that first song.
It should be a picture of me as a baby as the cover art.
Here we are.
Type in Nate Will.
Oh yeah, that's probably why. I put your actual name on there, like a genius.
I got it. You won't, but Nate will. That became my tagline.
Yeah, I've noticed that in your songs. How did that come about?
Someone actually gave me. His name is Crossworm. He's a producer, artist out of Michigan, and we were talking about rebranding one day online, and he said, "You won't, but Nate will." And I was like, wow. I didn't realize my name was that cool. I could do that with my name. It felt like I never realized how to spell my own last name. So I was like, oh.
You're like, wait, I can do that.
And then soon after, I had a guy make it one of my beat tags, like producer tags. So
gotcha.
That's where that came from.
Okay. Wicked. Yeah, that's I remember like the first time in high school I was trying to explain my name to someone. It's stay like a dog and then fan like a ceiling fan.
Right.
And they were just like, "I'm just gonna call you Stay." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like it was genius. I loved it.
Right.
So what was the name of that first track again?
In the Building.
In the Building. All right. So this is In the Building by Nate Will. This is one of your first tracks that
this is my very first recorded track.
Gotcha. All right.
Young Nathaniel, bodies in trunk. Here's the keys to the Cadillac. You know what to do. I be in the building. 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 I be in the
And now this is kind of like, has it changed over time, or is this like how you originally envisioned it?
I hate the way I sound on it. No, it did its job for that time.
Gotcha. Okay.
It wasn't as punchy as I wanted it to be. Now looking back at it, but it did its job for the time because he wasn't rapping as aggressively as I was.
Gotcha. And then you said this was a diss track, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't say his name, but that's what that was the pettiness of it. He knew it was about him, but I didn't say anything.
Okay. So he could tell, but everyone else was like,
he knew exactly what it was for.
That's cool. I like that. I like the subtext in it.
The second verse is more of what I wanted.
Yeah.
Overall.
Okay.
Let's talk at your funeral. Speaking like a thug, but get mad when we shoot you. Fuck a low blow, bitch, I'm aiming for your skull cap. Spoke about a chopper and you never even touched that. Spoke about my family and you think I wouldn't bust back. Fuck your whole team, I'll handle all your eulogies. Might sound nice, but I'll slaughter you so brutally. Fucking coward, get devoured by the niece's son.
And this is where I realized I could use I started using internal rhymes every rhyme. Now everything I do now is internal rhymes.
Yeah.
Multi-syllable rhymes. So.
I've noticed that it's not just like bookending the lines. It'll actually be like within as well.
And then once I dropped First 48, that's when I showed off. That's the standard of Nate's style. First 48.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll have to listen to that one in a bit. Okay, so we're getting to the end of this one right here. Mm-hmm. We'll do a little fade out. Beautiful, so classy.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like this album that you put out. Then it's sort of like you over time in an album.
Now that I look at it, I missed a few tracks because I can't find them. But yeah, it's the growth and the main idea is the vulnerability because because I got to a point where I was rapping I was rapping well, but I wasn't saying anything. So
gotcha.
This is before I got to that point. This is all the real emotion, the raw emotion of it, of the style I was trying to develop. But now I'm slowly finding the balance between modern and old school. So I'm having fun with it again.
Nice. So you've kind of like had the time to develop these different styles, and then now you're like, I guess, especially as a producer, you would sort of have to do that,
right?
Do you typically, as a producer, do you work within one style, or do you have to branch out as clients come to you?
Yeah, I tried my best to stay unique sounds that you don't expect.
Okay.
Then I build around them. Gotcha. So but most of my beats nowadays are trap beats, but my own spin on them. Really, really wild 808s, lots of distortion.
Yeah.
I don't really do the normal triplet hi hats things, but I do atmospheric things more than that.
Gotcha. Actually sounds a lot like what I've been getting into with metal. There's a lot of that where it's like
collaboration and
808s and distortion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, interesting. That'll be fun. All right, so like throughout this album, it's kind of like your education in rap.
Yes.
So like this first track that we just listened to, that was
In the Building.
In the Building. I scrolled past it. There it is. In the Building. We just listened to. That was your first one.
Right.
So what's something a little bit more recent? Something that's sort of shows the development in your style and I guess your education in rap.
I'd say Black Sheep Freestyle.
Black Sheep Freestyle. Okay, let's take a look here.
No. Talk to Me Nice.
Oh, okay. Oh, there, I see it.
I'm the second verse.
Okay.
And I made the beat.
Okay, so this is an example of a production value, too.
This is KDZ. He's my audio engineer for most of my tracks nowadays.
Oh, and he's actually rapping right now.
Yes.
Too. Oh, cool.
Introduce you to the devil. I ain't proud of my demons, but I was a child with my demons. I grew up with them bitches. Now I'm stuck with them bitches. Don't make me sick of more.
I see what you mean about like the more trap style beats.
The 808 slides.
Yeah. Yeah, you've definitely turned that into like a flavor. The 808 slides and then using those in different ways. Is that called a hook? What is that?
No, that's the transitions.
Okay, all right. So that's like a bridge or something like that. Okay.
And then more melodic on these newer tracks.
Gotcha.
And I freestyled the entire verse, as you can tell. And I turned up the auto tune because I said I want to show people I can do the modern stuff and have a little fun too. Because it was more like a jab, but because I'm petty like that. But I wanted to show I could do modern stuff too, and on my own beat.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's cool how you've sort of developed and like while you're doing more professional style things, you also have the ability to like not take yourself so seriously and do something that's a little bit more.
And that was my problem for a long time. I was like, I have to be rappity rap. I have to 16 syllables every line.
Yeah. So like, where did you learn these things along the way? Because it's you can't like go to school for rap. You can't go to school for. I mean, I guess you could. There's probably like beat production stuff, but maybe not like a degree.
I went to I started working with after my first rap battle. I met my opponent. His name is Blade. He took me under his wing. He's been rapping almost 22 years.
Oh wow.
So I always looked up to him because he was a pioneer in our scene because he was the first DJ / rapper in our area bringing hip hop to the venues out there.
Okay.
So, but his style is very traditional hip hop, but he mixes speed and punchline. So I sat with him and I said, what could I do to adjust my style and make it more lyrical, make it more in your face? And he said, all right, breath control. He said performance, animation. And I'm like, because that mine was when I first, if you listen to just listened to In the Building, I was very monotone, but now I'm playing with my emotions, like showing you that like this is where I'm meant to be sarcastic. And so that's what I learned from him, the breath control and the more intricate writing, wordplay, stuff like that.
Gotcha. And that's definitely like that's got to be valuable in the industry, like having someone that you can sort of latch onto and gain experience like that in the field by actually working with them, and then also have them as an example too.
We ended up doing 25 songs together.
Wow.
We did an album together.
Wow.
So, and like I wrote some of my best material on that. Like and it shows our chemistry too. It's our group was named Dipolar, and that album was hard.
I love the artwork that you sent. So Nate has he has merchandise up if you want to go check it out. It's on merch-flip.com. We'll add the link in the description below if this is an area that supports that, because we'll be sharing this to multiple places. But definitely go check that out. That Dipolar design is really, really cool. I like the
I forget her name. I know her last name, but Jen, thank you for the design for the Dipolar logo. We appreciate it very much.
We appreciate it too. It's fantastic. I had a segue there. Okay, so with Dipolar, did you go out and do like live shows and stuff?
Yes, we did.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of shows actually.
Dipolar shows. What are some of your favorite stories from doing live shows?
Our we were going to Delaware Water Gap for a show, and Blade's car broke down, and we had to get towed to the hotel and stay there overnight where it was at.
Oh, that's fun.
And there was a woman there who was, I guess she was like the cleaning lady.
Mm-hmm.
She had a fresh bullet wound in her chest. And
what?
Yeah, she had a fresh bullet wound in her chest.
Like how fresh are we talking
like
here?
2 to 3 days.
Oh.
It was yeah. And you know me. I had to ask. I was going to ask. Blade didn't let me. I said, Blade, can I ask her about the bullet wound? He's like, no, shut up. Shut the hell up. She's right there. I'm like, then I can ask the question.
Excuse me, ma'am. Where'd you get that?
But she was so skinny. Like so she had like Twizzler arm. Like you could see like her veins were so prominent. They look like Twizzlers against her skin.
Jesus.
And I'm like,
very vascular.
I have to ask. Oh man, but that was probably the show went well, but the after the post show was probably the best about that experience.
So, did you ask the lady?
No, not.
That's probably the respectful thing to do.
He convinced me not to. I didn't care about being respectful. You got shot.
Yeah, I want to know that story.
There's stuff going on.
Yeah, there's
who
something.
didn't like you that much.
Yes, you gotta seriously not like someone to be willing to shoot him.
Yeah. Oh, and she survived. You can't be that good of a shot.
Yeah. Maybe they just liked her. They disliked her that much that they're like, I'm going to shoot you, but I'm not even going to kill you. So you need to experience this.
Yeah,
I want you to survive and remember what this feels like. Good God. So
man.
With Dipolar, yeah, you've done a bunch of shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely sounds like an interesting show. What are some of your like challenges that you faced on playing live?
My memorization is horrendous, to say the least. So sometimes getting the songs performed was rough. And then as I get older, I sometimes forget that I'm not as limber as I used to be, and I'll hurt myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I blew out my left knee one time.
Oh,
yeah, that was
like on stage?
Like it didn't blow out, but like my kneecap moved to the left when I was stepping right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so not the direction it's supposed to go. Oh.
Yeah. So as I get older, I'm like, may not want to perform.
Yeah. No, I definitely can share that sentiment. I used to play with a couple of different metal bands, and I distinctly remember during one show, something was like I had like a wireless pack. I play bass guitar, so I start like going into the crowd, and I guess people just didn't expect like someone with an instrument to go into the crowd, and at metal shows they mosh. So I remember turning around and just seeing someone's foot come flying out of nowhere and just square in the face, just slapped the hell out of me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the stage now. I'm gonna stay up there where it's safe and people don't kick me. But it was an awesome show. It was like a basement house party, and it was crazy.
See, I've always been invited to. I'm like, nah, you're not about to karate kick me in the face.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm good.
I think actually the last metal show that I was at, that's where there's like a little chip in on my right center tooth. I was just minding my own beeswax, walking around the edge of the pit, and I just turned around and it was just elbow to the face, and I'm like, all right, if you wanted me to mosh, like. And I just jump in. Cowabunga, dudes.
Damn.
It was fun. It was good fun.
Rap shows are everybody's too smoked out. Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the nice thing about Canadian metal shows is you'd get kicked in the face and then you'd go sit outside and someone would pass you a joint. So
lucky.
Different, different country. Different standards up there.
Yeah.
All right. What's next on our agenda? Actually, so you were talking about working with Dipolar. What was collaborating with a group like?
group was so much more fun. Because you throw out an idea and it goes so many different places.
Yeah.
And you're like, I wouldn't have came up with that if I was working by myself. And I like this new angle we're approaching this with, and that makes me more excited about getting in the booth and rapping it. And so that was a main part of that. And like the songs we did together, man, they were some of my most animated, some of my most like witty, like funny stuff.
So it kind of worked as like inspiration.
Yeah,
working
like,
with additional people like that.
We have a song called "Get 'Em" that is traditional, like that boom bap hip hop, and we killed that.
Nice.
And we do a section of the verse where we go back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And I'm using his style and he's using my style.
Oh, nasty. Yeah. Nice. I like that. That's really creative. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with, dueling vocalists and stuff like that when you have more than one in a group. Like I used to play in a metal, like I was saying, I would do backup vocals. And of course that's just me screaming kind of into a microphone. So I didn't really need to learn my lyrics, but at the same time, just having like differences in vocal sounds, like bands that have harmony, I just find are so much more interesting. Like I can't remember the name of them, but there was this group in the 90s that they would do, it might be Thrice. They would do like acoustic versions of their songs, and the harmonies that these guys would do together were just impeccable. And there was something undeniable about that, when you have a good mix of styles,
right,
and the people in the group know how to put them together, it can make all the difference.
Right. See, like I was so because I revered him as a legend, so I was like, how am I gonna do this? Because the way he raps is so. I'm more of like a slow build.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I didn't know how we was gonna sit, but
interesting.
The album is out. It's called Super Entendre.
Super Entendre. That's Dipolar's album. You can check it out if we have the links down below or on
SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud. That's you'd search Dipolar for that? Gotcha. Sweet. And now I guess the other side of that. So like collaboration can be fantastic, but I think we've all come into contact with like toxic masculinity and budding personalities clashing against each other. So like what are your some of your experiences with that, and like ways that you've overcome?
The toxic, there's a lot of toxic masculinity in hip hop. Everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody thinks they're a star. Everything's your stuff is never good enough, and they have to share their negative opinion on what you're doing all the time. Yeah. So you just got to learn how to navigate that.
That's something that I've been seeing artists talk about lately, where it's like there are times when they ask for your opinion, where they'll put out a track and they'll be like, "Hey, so I did this. What do you think?" And then there will be times where they're just putting out material, like they put out their new album, and that's not really I don't know, in my opinion, that's not really a time to go to the band and be like, yo, you should have done this on your album. And it's like, well, they just put it out, it's set in stone now, like they're not going to change it just to make you happy, so like why are you even complaining about it? Just talk to them about what you enjoyed from the album, like
everybody wants to hear that they're the greatest thing in the world. That's the biggest problem. Like a lot of artists come to me because I'm a producer now, and say, "Oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?" And I'm like, I'll give them my honest answer every time, and sometimes I get negative responses back. But you ask me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think if I feel you can do better, you need to know.
And that's the difference between constructive criticism and just people being toxic about what you're trying to do. Right. It's like if you're actively asking for someone's opinion and then you get upset about them giving an honest opinion,
and you ask,
like it's just, I don't know what you're like. You want a yes man? Go give someone $5 to tell you that you're great. Like they'll say it, they'll do it. You know. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to give an opinion and give our professional opinion, but that doesn't mean that you have to follow it. Right. You know, Probably better for you if you do, but you can just be like, oh, that's cool, great, thanks for the opinion, and then do your own thing.
Right.
You know, it's I think what happens when people start to get upset about situations like that is that it's literally their ego backing up against it and being like, well, I trusted this person's opinion and I disagree with it, so that must mean that either I'm wrong or they're wrong. But
Dissect it and see what works for you. What information from what they're saying works for you and works
glean
for
what you can and ignore what you don't want to use. It's that simple.
Exactly.
Yeah. But meanwhile, people get all butthurt.
Common sense ain't so common.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, that's toxic masculinity in both rap and metal. Or I feel like there's a bit of a stereotype about it where I think people consider it everywhere. But where have you? Like I found within metal like that there are micro communities of people that just love music or they just love playing guitar, and so like that's why they follow this band because it's just guitar porn, you know. But you know they don't care about like whether it's like a good song or a catchy tune or whatever. They have reasons for liking these things. So like where have you found bastions of like positivity in your scene?
My scene. Oh,
yeah. You know, there's little tiny pockets in metal here and there too.
I had to work out my side. I work outside my scene now.
Oh yeah. In order to find that kind of collaborative.
Yeah, like I have a team now that I work with. Well, two teams. Well, Triforce Music, which is local, was local to Hazleton.
Okay.
And then Introvert Party, which is the album I'm working on now.
Introvert Party. I've seen that on Facebook a couple times.
That's Sauces Matisse, Corey V. He's changing his name, but I'll call him Julian, and Wise. But that's the group. That's the team right now. They're all from Tennessee, Virginia, Detroit. They're all over. So
that's a diverse group right there.
Yeah, they can all really, really create fast.
Now, Sauces Matisse, I've heard that name mentioned by you before, and but also just like kind of in general on the internet. Have you worked with him before, like before this iteration, or so this is like your first time kind of working with him?
Yep, we've done a lot of songs so far.
What's one that I could search that you two have worked on together?
Let's see.
Whether you producing, him rapping, or you both rapping.
It should be. I have not rapped with him yet. That's my biggest regret so far. Let's see. You Feel Me. I produced that for him. YA. There we go.
Here we go. All right. So, Sauces Matisse, You Feel Me.
So you can blame it on my upbringing, blame it on my guilt, blame it on my fuck thinking, blame it what I feel. I cannot believe I love, hate it, why can't I be still? I just wanna be enough, feeling something fucking real. I just wanna feel.
I like the giant sloth head. Big fan. So you produced this beat?
Yes, I did.
So what kind of like technology do you use when you're producing?
FL Studio.
FL Studio
1.
Gotcha. Wow. There's a lot of versions of that.
Yes, there is.
I remember FL9.
Yes.
I had a free version. Well, not a free version. I had a cracked version of that for a while. Oh dear. Maybe I shouldn't say that on the air.
Nope.
Who knows?
I don't know nothing.
But I mean, that's how it starts. You know, you get your first free version or demo version of something. You find out how to get past that 120-day limit or whatever, and that's what gets you into producing. So, only FL Studio, right?
Only FL Studio.
Interesting. Do you use like outside beats or plugins or not? Maybe not beats, but like hits. You know, like drum hits or
I pick up a few kits every once in a while.
like sound packs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Cool. Interesting.
My favorite place to do as far as melodies is No, I don't want to give that sauce away.
Oh,
I don't want to give that
we
sauce
almost
away.
got it. We almost got the sauce.
I was almost going to give it away.
Oh, jeez.
No, man. If you use FL, you know what's up. You know what's up. You know where to look.
You know where to find the real stuff. Nice. Okay. So that's you and Sauces Matisse. That was You Feel Me. Produced by Nate Will.
Mm-hmm.
And rapping is by Sauces Matisse. Mm-hmm. And so you guys are in Triforce together, right?
No, that's
sorry.
Introvert Party.
Introvert Party is what that's called. Okay. Interesting. That's very cool. Let's take a look at our list here again. Gotcha. All right. So we were talking about toxic masculinity. You know, we find it in both positive and negative ways in both of our scenes. Mm-hmm. Or like we find it and then we find ways around it within our scenes. Right. I think the next step above that is mental health and music. And, you know, your experiences with that. I know I've always heard the old adage where it's like someone comes up to a band after a show and they're like, hey, you know, I'm like, thank you for doing what you do and blah, blah, blah. Like your music saved my life. That seems to be a really common thing, I think, in metal. And I think that's a lot of people gravitate towards that, who are like struggling with certain mental health issues. Do you find that within rap, you get these sort of interactions as well, or is it a little bit more subtle?
Yeah, we get them, but not very like bigger artists get them than like I've never had someone come up to me and say one of my songs has affected them that way. But I've noticed that bigger artists do.
Get that. So there's my song, but like as far as me, my songs are very personal to me. Like I don't make. I've noticed that I don't make that relatable music sometimes. Okay. It's just more self-referential.
Yeah.
So that's my struggle. That once I stop talking about these imaginary adversaries, and I think I'll be good in music. So then I think more people will gravitate to my music once I stop doing that.
Well, I mean, there's also, I'm sure that hits like it resonates with some people because that's a theme that I've heard in metal music even. These imaginary enemies and all this stuff, like the voices in your head that try and keep you back and try and crush those hopes and dreams. I've even experienced that in the workplace. Like there's a woman that I worked with who would always talk about like the voices in her head, where it's just like it's a constant thing. She's learned to cope with it, and there's different things. Like for her, she was saying this certain artist like just has a certain effect on her, and it's really calming. She can't explain why she likes that music, but it just helps her in a certain way. But I definitely found that like within mainstream music, I wouldn't really hear about it all that much, except like you said, with bigger artists. Meanwhile, with metal, I feel like it was a little bit more, people were overt about it, you know, and like smaller bands would even get that treatment sometimes. But I would personally get the feeling that like from rap, it would be more like covert, like they would sort of be more subtle.
You want to be big and bad, and not every rapper is like that. Like that's the thing. That's another misconception that we have about like you don't have to be big. You can be who you are, and still be respected. I think that we need to put more emphasis on that, being yourself.
Yeah.
So,
now I'm not sure if he would really count as a rapper, I guess, but I feel like one of the first artists that could fit into that genre that I noticed that was breaking that mold was like Kid Cudi. Like back in the day, he really went into that.
Yeah, him, Kanye West. Drake, very very emotion forward in their lyrics.
Yeah, that's definitely a new thing. There's a stampede above us. We both heard that even through our headphones. So this is tight. Yeah, so it's okay. So there are some artists out there that are more emotion heavy. Do you think that there's sort of like a genre line that defines that, or is it
no?
Is it just more general?
More general.
Interesting.
I actually that's more my speed, like that motion first approach to lyrics.
Yeah.
Like I really like songs that tell a story, tell the person's. I like to get to know people.
Yeah.
Period. So if there's songs like that, I'm all about it.
Yeah, and that seems to be what your music does too. Is because you're telling more personal stories, you're attempting to connect with people on a more personal level, which I'm sure is incredibly difficult. Like it's like with film, like there are directors and filmmakers that tell their own story, but it can be sometimes hard to generalize that story to a general population. But having something that's more specific like that also resonates deeper with the people that it does resonate with.
Right.
You know, like if you've had that same experience, it's gonna be like you're looking into a mirror or you're listening to a story about yourself. Whereas if it just sort of fits the mold, yeah, it'll fit for you and you'll feel the emotion, but it's not gonna be as sharp, as pointed as in other cases. Interesting. So making this this journey, like you were saying that like in grade school you started getting into rap and then you started getting into producing and all this stuff later on. In making that journey over time, like how did you find the transition from being sort of like having like a personal sphere to being more public figure status, where like you're posting on social media and you're putting things out there for the world
I had to stop
actively
being
criticize?
so emotional.
Yeah?
I had to really stop being so emotional. I'm a person who wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
And then some. So if you make me mad, you know I'm mad. I'm gonna talk about you. and
Okay,
so
like you're gonna let Facebook know.
Yeah, I had to let Facebook know at some point. So I had to be very aware, very surgical and very clear and concise about my mission, my mission statement, and what I want, and what I'm willing to give to my audience. So I had to stop being that emotional little punk.
Gotcha. And that's interesting too, because like your style of music is definitely more emotional, like you were saying. So like tapping into that emotion can be beneficial, but this seems to be a situation where like if you tap into that emotion a little too hard on social media, you can ostracize yourself pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah, well, I've completely made enemies, not like in like real mortal enemies, like artists that don't like me because of what I've said.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they won't work with me because of what I've said.
Okay.
And how I come off, and that's their problem, not mine. I'm actually a pretty okay guy if you get to know me as a person, but I get it. So
that's actually a kind of an interesting point. So like how, like I feel like in the genre of music that I've worked in, when people dislike each other or like when bands dislike each other, they try to keep it a little more subtle. Like there might be some kind of chatter behind the scenes, but there's not going to be like, we're going to post a big thing about it unless they like really hate each other. Like there have been some pretty classic beefs. But when it comes to rap as a genre, it seems to be more open. Like you can, like it's almost applauded because like you can like, especially like battle rap, that becomes much more of an emotion-driven genre.
Yeah. I've dibbled and dabbled with some battle rap.
I see you posting every now and then about.
I want to traditionally battle rap. I want to do the acapella style battle rap, but I've definitely touched on it in like went into that mode in songs, and made a couple enemies and made people like almost a half a decade of worth of beef. I have an issue with another group from also in Hazleton.
Okay.
And then it's bad.
Now at the same time though, how much does that fuel your creativity though? Like having that sort of object to point your emotion at.
See, it's good Like it was good at one point. Like it was good. It not good. It made sense to me at one point. But now, now that I'm getting older, I broke it down. I'm like, I'm writing a poem about another grown man, about how he made me feel, and I'm going to do it over a hard ass beat.
I have not thought of it that way.
I'm gonna angrily tell another grown man how he upset me.
Good God.
And then make fun of him.
Okay, all right. So it's sort of like it's almost on the same line of like passing an angry note in class. You know, like you're gonna spend the time writing that note.
You're not my friend, but I'm gonna do it with a bunch of rhymes.
I'm gonna use cool words to tell you how much I hate you.
Yeah. So I've only done 4 or 5 diss tracks, maybe 6, and I'm like, but some of them have my best rhymes ever.
Yeah.
So that's why it sucks.
Hey, sometimes people just pull that emotion out of you. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the best work that I've done as a videographer, I'd say, would be when people go like, "That can't be done." Mm-hmm. Like they talk about a certain shot, they're like, "Yo, yeah, I want to do a zolly while doing a crane move and all this other crap," and I'm just like, "I can do it. I can figure this out." And they're like, "No, you can't." And then I do it, and they're like, "Shit, he did it." But there's something about like proving people wrong and having that what is that called, like an animus, something that pushes you to action. Sometimes that can be a really, really powerful motivator. So that's an interesting way that you can manifest, like you can control your emotion in one sense, where on like social media you can't just like call people out and be like, "Yo, this guy sucks." Whereas in a rap song, you can totally do that.
Yep.
Like you can get into that genre and you can.
Yeah, like then there's people these amazing people that can do both. They can troll like expert trolling and then back it up with quality rapping.
Do you have some names in your head? I feel like you're thinking about some people here.
Me? Like the people that don't like me, I'm not gonna say their name because their music is trash. But
like I'm not giving them airtime.
They did a meme of me, but they called me Nate the Snake.
Oh God, I remember that.
And I'm holding it's an accurate it's a very accurate depiction of my body. Now that I'm married and fat, holding a snake, which I'm deathly afraid of. So I wouldn't. It's complete fiction because I would never hold a damn snake. But it's my fat body looking like a bruised milk dud in a green background with Nate the Snake as the header.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was a great meme. So I flipped it. And I was like, "This is the greatest meme I've ever had of me."
Didn't you use it as like a cover on a song or something?
I scrapped the song, but I was gonna use it. I was gonna use it as a single art cover. And like these guys are monsters at Microsoft Paint.
I was gonna say that was definitely Photoshop, but like they didn't even put that into Photoshop. That's like that was MS Paint right there.
Yeah,
I think they used a computer that had Windows 98 too. Like, oh, rough. Yeah. So
that goes in like, so you got to think. This is how I spun it too another time because I was bored and I wanted to share it again. Someone took time out of their day to create that,
to MS Paint,
and then release it, and then put it out.
Someone painted you like one of their French girls.
Someone had to develop that idea here,
yeah,
and then transfer it.
Oh God, that's
I'm just saying.
Good Lord,
hey,
that's an interesting perspective to put on it because like I've never really thought about like a rap battle. Like I'm thinking of like Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, right? And I'm thinking of like Machine Gun Kelly sitting there like, This guy's an asshole. Like just tears.
But Eminem
welling
kind
up.
of you got it. Eminem kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it is. It's two grown men writing each other. You're a butthole notes. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's definitely a perspective to take on.
yeah. And like next time I'm like, I need to write a. Oh,
You're like, wait,
no, I don't. No, I don't.
Just takes the wind right out of your sails.
Oh, maybe one more time. No. Sometimes I really do miss. I want to do one last one.
You should do one that's like under the premise of this is basically like writing a love note, but it's just saying I hate you instead of I love you. You know, it's like people always say like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. So like if you don't care about them,
Right.
that's when you've gotten over it. But it's like if you hate that person, it's really just a strong emotion that you feel for that person still.
Yep.
Oh Lord, that's interesting. I'm excited to hear the next diss track that comes from you too, because I know it's gonna happen.
No,
at some
it's
point.
not. I bet you $40 I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
That's staying to the podcast. We're gonna stick this to
All
it.
2020, I'm not doing a diss track. The entire year.
Nate will 2020 no diss tracks.
Okay, if I do it, what month am I doing it in?
Oh God, it's got to be like February if you do it because it's just
You give me
cold.
that-
It's
oh,
icy.
You have that little faith in February?
Yeah, I give you 1 month. I give you 35 days. You said 365. I said 35.
Damn. I got to at least wait till April.
Rough. Yeah, you're just gonna bide your time now. It's gonna be springtime. The birds are singing, and you're gonna be writing hate notes to other men. So when you do write, when you produce and all this stuff, you already talked about FL Studio,
Right.
But like, what sort of like technology do you like? Do you want to try out? Have you heard of? You know,
I want to try Logic.
yeah.
I really want to mess with Logic and see what I could do on Logic.
Is that or no? Propeller Heads is Reason, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's, I mean, Reason and Logic sound pretty similar to me,
Bars.
but
Bars. I see you sneaky. You see with the sneaky punchlines.
you're inspiring me here, Dave. I can't help it,
man. Hey.
So all right, so Logic. Why have you? What's your interest in that? Because I know the guys over at King Studios, they use, I think, a version of Logic. Either Logic or they might have jumped over to Cubase. But what have you heard about Logic that's interesting?
Because that's what Sauces Matisse, he records like the beats I give him. He records the songs in, and I just like the layout. I just want to see what I could do, what other features are in there.
Logic is kind of industry standard too, right? Yeah, I've kind of heard that as the big one.
Pro Tools is the big one.
Oh, Pro Tools. That's the okay. And what company makes Pro Tools? Is that
I always wondered that.
interesting? It's Steinberg Cubase. I don't know. We'll find it. But anyway, all right. So Logic. That's the next thing on your list. Gotcha. What about microphones? Do you have any favorites there, or is it just?
I never really paid attention when I was in studios to the microphone, and as odd as that is, because some microphones make my voice sound crazy, and I should have paid attention to those. And I really need to do a home setup. That's what I was going to think about and doing, just so I can do like practice the songs before I go to the studio.
Yeah,
just
build demos so that when you do go to the studio, you can just blast through it, stuff like that.
So yeah, that's my next move. Save up some money. Excuse me, and knock out some demos.
Yeah, build up that home studio setup a little bit. Wicked.
I have the space. I just need to figure out what I need.
Yeah. Well, if you were to say follow us on Patreon or donate there, or if this comes up on a live stream, I might be sending this out via Twitch. I'm not quite sure yet. Not sure if we can make it up there, but we'll give it a shot. If this comes up on Twitch, all of the proceeds from this live stream, we'll put it towards Nate's new setup because we want to see him doing some really cool stuff. You do great work with the beats that you produce. It's honestly, like you've shown me like the laptop that you work on, and when I think of beat production, I always think of like these big studios that have tons of like instruments and all this crap, and it's like it's amazing how much you can create with a laptop. And you really take that to the nth degree. Like
thank you.
You really draw that out there, and I'm excited to see what you come up with next. So let's see what we can get Nate there for some studio setup. Actually, I might know of some interfaces that might have your name on it. We've got a meeting with King Studios tonight. I might actually be live streaming some of this. If Nate has time, we'll have him over to the studio and get him to chat with the guys a little bit and show them some of the microphones that they have, because they have these vintage like old Neumann mics, which are from like Germany and stuff. And that I know that those are better for like singing. This one that I have right here, this is an SM7B. It's a little bit better for like gutturals and low stuff, because like when you go low, you can really hear it. You know, that's the announcer voice a little bit. Yeah. There's those large diaphragm condensers. That's what that's called. So they'd probably be able to like actually talk you through like, all right, so this microphone's good for this one's good for that. You want to do rap? Like, oh, like check out this one, and they'll point you in the direction. I'm always doing that with them. I'm pointing them in the direction of camera stuff. So that's what I'm, trying to create here with FCMG. We've got King Studios, we've got Nate Will that we're working with, and we're just trying to create a community. So share and follow on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. We're going to be making a lot of more material like this. And thank you so much for joining us today,
No
Nate.
problem.
This has been really interesting.
I'm looking forward to be back.
What are some, before we hit the road, what are some links that we can find you at?
I am on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon as Nate Will.
Gotcha. SoundCloud too, right?
SoundCloud too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Gotcha. So check out Nate Will. I know you can find him on Facebook too. He's got a great profile that keeps up all kinds of new posts and interesting material every other day. So definitely check him out. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great time.
You.
Cheers. All right. And join us again next time for the FCMG podcast. Thanks for watching. Peace out.